Yo, so yeah, I went to the cinema today and I checked out the Legend of Ochi. Right, for some reason I thought that I've seen this film, but no, it's a new one. Right, it is written and directed by Isaiah Saxon. The film is produced by Tracy Colson, along with Richard Peet, Jonathan Wang, and Isaiah Saxon. It's executive produced by Angela Russo Utsut, Joe Russo, Anthony Russo, Alex Palpinga, Louise Lovegrove, Mike LaRocca, Danny Cohen, Len Blavanik, Timo Argelanda, and Elisa Alvarez. It's associate produced by Anna L. Coates, Christopher Landry, and we have a line production from Christine Bostanicchio. Okay, so music was handled by David David Longstruth, actually. We have Evan Prosofsky on cinematography. Paul Rogers edits the piece. Right, production design is Jason Kizvade, Sorin Dima, and Mugar Aurelian Popescu handle art direction. Set decoration is Kelsey Ephraim. Elizabeth Ran is costume design. Hair and makeup, we have Nicoletta Tudor, Andrea Dadia Tesdall, Christian Konstantin Stoica, Sophie Rechberger, and Shehezra Kukaki. I think I probably butchered all of those names. What else do we have? Okay, so we have the Uchi animatronic people. There is Kaz Gladwin, Carl Gallivan, Peter Elliott, David Darby, Alex Lawton, Colum Mangam, Alan Murphy, John Nolan, Adrian Parrish, right, Sophie Retchenberger, Zozia Stella Sawika, Adam Wright. There's probably more. I'm sure I missed some people, right? Now we got the puppeteers are with the actors. So let's get with the cast, right? So Yuri is played by Helena Zengel. Her dad, Maxim, is played by William Dafoe. Her, I don't know what you would call it, kind of stepbrother in a way, Petro, is played by Finn Wolfhard. We've got Dasha, played by Emily Watson. There's Ivan, played by Razvan Stoica. Oleg, played by Carl Bors. Vlad, played by Andrei Antoni Angel. Gleb, played by David Andrei Balatou. Pavel, played by Eduard Milal Orsia. Tudor, played by Thomas Otto Glia. And then the Uchi, right? So, Paul Manalatos voices the Uchi. The lead puppeteer is Robert Teigner. The other puppeteers, we have Caroline Bowman, Lynn Robertson Bruce, Istreen Evans, Sue Beatty. We got the Mother Uchi is voiced by Zoe Midgley. Adult Uchi voiced by Alexandra Dusa. Another one voiced by Anna Maria Kukuta. Another Alexandru Kundrat. Anna L. Coates voices another. Victor is played by Stefan Balus. Richard Emmanuel Stoescu. Yeah, I mean, that's our main lot of people, I would say. Okay, so the gist of the film, right? Well, people, it's this. A young girl named Yuri is raised to fear the reclusive forest creatures known as the Uchi. However, when she discovers a baby Uchi left behind by its pack, she embarks on a perilous journey to reunite the creature with its family. As Yuri ventures deeper into the forest, she faces dangerous challenges and learns a valuable lesson about courage, friendship, and the importance of protecting nature. More or less, right? I mean, the Uchi wasn't left behind, right? The Uchi was in a trap, you know what I mean? So the Uchi could not go anywhere, right? So, yeah, it starts off and there's a hunt, right? Because they claim the Uchi are killing cattle and all of this stuff. And her dad, Maxim, says an Uchi killed his wife, right? Well, it's a weird one because I swear at one point he says kills his wife, and then another point was said the Uchi were the reason she left. So it was a bit like, wait, huh? But we kind of learn that Maxim has been liberal with the truth over the years, right? But because of this supposed issue with the Uchi, a lot of the families have given him their sons to train up as protectors because they're a bit of a bunch of wasters, it would seem. You know what I mean? It's the riffraff he's being given. And Petro, he's an orphan, and Maxim has raised him from a little boy. But it's like he's training the boys, but he kind of doesn't seem to give Yuri as much attention. And, you know, she's kind of rebelling with the music she likes and just all of this kind of stuff. We're based in this fictional place, right? This fictional land, Carpathia, right? Which, funny enough, seems to have been a fictional land in many different pieces of work, right? There's actually mountains, the Carpathian Mountains, right? The second largest, I think, range in Europe. But yeah, that's where it is. And it is this, I don't know, it's this kind of weird, vibrant, colourful, piece of nature, right? That's where they're from. It kind of feels a little Scandinavian, a little Eastern European. It's an interesting world. And these Uchi kind of feel like if Yoda and Chewbacca got it on. That's what kind of, when I look at these things, I'm just like, yo, yeah, little Yoda, little Chewie, right? I mean, not quite. Like, I'm not saying that they were, they ripped off these looks or anything, but that's just the vibe I got when I saw them, And yeah, we get these creatures that they're trying to hunt, and they've set all these traps, and so Yuri has to go check the traps, and she finds this baby Uchi trapped in a trap. Trapped in a trap? I feel that's probably what you would say. I don't think there's another term for it, right? I don't know. Anyway, that's what she finds. And, like, when in the hunt, you could see that she's not down for them trying to kill the Uchi, right? Whether that's her rebellious side, you know what I mean? Or she just seems to have this affinity with the animals. But, so, she is down to try and rescue this creature. So once she frees it from the trap, she then sets about on a mission to take this creature home. And it's just her adventures. It's an interesting film, because it's kind of like we have many different kind of genres all melded together, which is always fun, right? Because I think when it comes to genre, I mean, with so much in the world, like in so many different kind of situations and stuff, it can be a cross between many different things. So I'm always fine when a film wants to blur the lines, And with this, it's like we've got this childhood adventure kind of, I don't know, because I hated a lot of those films. But maybe kind of, a little Goonie-ish, maybe, right? Goonie-ish, Gremlins, kind of crossed with, like, some other kind of, what's that film where the girl goes walking in the wild? Oh, I think it's called The Wild. I think it's just called The Wild. Oh my god. Yeah, I think that's the Reese Witherspoon one. I think it was her. It was a blonde girl, right? I think it's Reese Witherspoon. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it just kind of reminds me of these different things all coming together, like a coming of age situation, And yeah, we've kind of built this world, right? The music they listen to is kind of familiar but different, So we have all of this stuff, and so it's kind of an interesting world building process. Which I always enjoy that kind of thing. The story itself, we have all of these different things, right? So it's that rebellion, it's that standing up for what you believe in, it's protecting nature, right? We got all of these different elements here. Which, yeah, interesting. But there was a little kind of a bit of a disconnect. I think maybe because we have this interesting stuff and all these things happening, but it kind of feels like we're just skimming the surface on people. right? We don't really flesh out Yuri. We definitely do not flesh out Petro, right? Maxine, Dash. Like, all our characters, it seemed very surface level, you know? Right? Even with Yuri trying to save the Uchi and all of this going on, it still feels like we don't know them that well. Right? We don't really know the Uchi. It's just kind of that, for me anyway, right? So it's just hard to fully invest and care when I'm only dealing with, a top player of something. I need a little bit more. But it's definitely interesting. I think the different kind of textures that we have from the environments that we see is kind of, interesting and draws you in, right? The Uchi themselves, because I think they do use puppets. I think there's a little bit of CGI in places, but where they can, they're using puppets and animatronics and all of that jazz, and that's always good. I think that gives the film something different. So there is a lot to enjoy, a lot to like, right? I do think that it's Rachel Zengler, I think. Is it Rachel? I feel it's Rachel. I think that's the Helena. No, I'm off. Helena Zengel. I think she's pretty good as Yuri. This kind of rebellious girl and this rage and, determination. She gives us all of that, and that's pretty good, And William Dafoe, there's something about him as Maxime, right? Emily Watson as Dasha. There is this kind of standoffishness, this aloofness with that character. So we get some decent performances. I'm saying, like, it's definitely, there's some promise here. There is something here. I don't know if it hits the heights of, tales like Never-Ending Story, and, I see people reference it to the Dark Crystal and things like that. I don't, Labyrinth. I don't think it necessarily hits those heights, but, right, I think Isaiah Saxon has done some decent work in his feature debut. So, you know what I mean? Definitely a solid foundation to build upon. But yeah, The Legend of Ochi, it's already been out in the States. It's another one of those weird situations, right? But yeah, just dropping in the UK, I think maybe Europe as well. So yeah, you could go and check this out in the cinema, The Legend of Ochi.